Hello everybody and welcome to Total War Arena. So I'm here today kind of to give you a showing of what is to come. Obviously we've got our barbarians, which we'll get into very soon, but more importantly I think you might notice this is our new map. So this is Rubicon, obviously based off a famous river crossing that Caesar crossed on his way to destroy the Roman Republic and establish the Roman Empire. I know it's a lot more complicated than that, but that's a summarized version. So it's kind of a river crossing map, bases here and here, watchtower one here and one over there. You can cross along here without any issues, but you know, Total War series is kind of famous for having river crossings. It's something that the community very much enjoys. So I'm playing as Arminius, and I have 2 units of woodsmen and 1 unit of scout riders, tier 2 cavalry. Barbarians get tier 1 cavalry, so that's a big change for anything we've had previously. And you can kind of see right now that we're using one of our abilities to great effect here, which is momentum. I almost clicked frenzy there, but there you go. You can see Arminius leading my troops there. And we're going to use momentum to get us a bit of speed going here, to cross over this difficult terrain of the river and the muds here, to get over at these enemies. So you can see they're falling back in good order here, but we're using the best of our cavalry at this tier to kind of harass them, force them to kind of like box up slightly, because they need to defend those archers. You can see that they're pulling so much back to just deal with these cavalry, and it gives us a bit of time. And you can see here managing to use a charge ability instead of into an enemy, using it to escape an enemy. And once again, kind of getting chased by 2 units. Nope, make that even more. And are they going to get away? They just get away and force the enemy here into a stern chase. And that's a lot of units being tied down here to chase some cavalry, because they need those troops over here, because that's where they're being overwhelmed right now. You can see the frenzy ability being activated there, and that is going to increase the melee damage and attack. But obviously the melee defense is going to drop down slightly. But it's okay because they've got reinforcements coming in here. So you can kind of see that cavalry is coming back in again. I'm going to just try and keep the enemy on the back foot. You see the archers once again not able to fire as much because they constantly have to dodge these cavalry attacks. And you know, they would much rather have infantry in combat where they could actually tip the scales. Talking about that tier 1 cavalry, it's very good for harassing and scouting, not so good to be in the frontline combat like you see here. They're very much for harassing, cutting down and scouting, not so much for frontline combat, which is what's happening over here. So you can see over at the bridge crossing, the tier 3 axemen of the barbarians are chomping their way through these militia swords who are trying to defend the bridge. They might have some skirmishers with them as well, but they're slowly but surely being cut to pieces. And you see here the axemen have crossed the river, and there you go, a frenzied charge right into that unit. And once again, cavalry coming in, going for a flank, but you know, they're not the kind of unit you meant to see in the front line, and they're going to get cut to pieces by these axemen. And you can see this flank right now, the left flank of the enemy is just collapsing completely, and they're getting cut to pieces over there. Meanwhile, over here, you can just see that the numbers game is definitely helping out on our infantry. So we're slowly just cutting them down, forcing the range units and so on to kind of look for somewhere to hold up and have it back to something more solid, because right now this is just a sea of blue, and they're not really having much chance to reorganize their lines. And you know, that's something that obviously you very much always want to have your flanks guarded and defended, and they can't really do that right now with our troops all over the place. Over on the far right flank here, you can see that the barbarians infantry, the warbands and woodsmen, have just cut to pieces these levies and other Roman infantry units, and that flank is pretty much gone. You see we just captured the watchtower over here on our victorious flank, and we have vision of everything, and we can see it's just a mop-up operation at this point. We're just charging this one home, really. You can see, there you go, pretty much all left is a bit of cavalry. We thrown in these woodsmen here. They're not going to do too well. They are getting sandwiched with an Italian swordsman and some like hoplites. And there are some cavalry still remaining, but the writing is very much on the wall. I mean, look at the player numbers. Our team here with over 1,200, so there are only 300. And Not a Spartan in sight on this one, well, except for maybe some light pulp lines. I'm not even sure what commander they have on that one. But as you can see, using our momentum and numbers and quick moving of our barbarians, we were able to ford over this river really quickly. Use our cavalry to harass and really knock the enemy off balance with our movability and kind of hit and run kind of tactics. And that forced them into a fight or flight situation. They decided to hold their ground here, anchored their flanks on these rocks here. Good positioning and everything, but they were constantly having to deal with harassment from the cavalry units and tier 1 cavalry. And those units didn't even have to engage, they just had to threaten and engage. And with that, we were able to completely surround them in the infantry fight and just outnumber them in the end 2-1. Whereas now much more than 2-1, as you can see. So they're just having their last stand here on this rocky outcrop. But as you can see, by using the barbarians' lower tier cavalry, tier 1 cavalry, tier 2 cavalry, and obviously use momentum, and the fact that all the barbarian units that we were using here today, the woodsmen and axemen and the cavalry, all light units, they were able to ford that river nice and quickly and just get into a kind of a barbarian rush forward, which completely caught the Roman and Greek forces completely by surprise. So guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed this little teaser of what is to come in our closed beta, which is just around the corner. So you can get to see Arminius and all his troops coming very soon to Total War Arena. So like always guys, keep an eye on our social media and forums, and we'll see you guys very soon.